Hello, my name is Debbie Reynolds. They call me the Data Diva. Today I want to talk about geospatial privacy. Geospatial privacy is about the data that's collected about us in terms of our whereabouts, where we go, what we do, and the types of devices and types of methods that are used to collect that data, and also what is being done with that data. A lot of us are using devices that track our locations, like our phones track our location. If you're calling for like a rideshare app to pick you up, they're tracking your location. If you're walking past a cell tower, your location is being tracked. People are concerned about that data being collected and possibly being used for things that maybe they are not aware of, or they may not want or agree that it be tracking them in those ways. Another issue with geospatial privacy has a lot to do with things like satellites and drones. So, and especially the instance with satellites. A lot of satellites, as they were being created, especially like in the 50s, 60s, 70s, were initially intended to be used for things like space exploration, looking at weather patterns around the world, being used for the military, which the military obviously still uses it, and they have a lot of more advanced technology than is commercially available. But over the years, more commercial or private industries got into using satellites for things like broadcasting, for things like internet connections, and also being able to serve up other types of content really quickly to people. The concern now with satellites, especially with geospatial data, is that first of all, there are a lot of satellites. There are over 5,000 satellites currently orbiting the Earth for different purposes from different countries. The satellite imagery is better and is getting better every day. The U.S. government, for example, lowered the threshold by which people can have satellites or take images that are better than they used to be. But a major concern is something that was never really contemplated in the space age when people started putting satellites in space, was that satellites imagery would be good enough to actually identify individuals on Earth. So in terms of commercially available satellites and satellites that are being used for commercial purposes, those satellites even today may have a resolution that is as good to see maybe something like a bread box or the length of a man's shoe. And people are concerned that as the satellite technology in terms of being able to photograph people get better, that we'll have to deal with having satellites that can actually personally identify an individual on Earth. This is especially troubling to people, especially if these companies are in some way, shape, or form combining data together. So let's say, for instance, your phone is tracking your location, and the satellite can have an image of you, even if it doesn't have a clear picture of you. Combining those two data sets together could make you personally identifiable. So this is an open space. There hasn't been a lot of laws about this as it has to do with satellites. Again, because at the time when people were developing satellites and the things they were doing with it, it had not contemplated that satellites would ever get good enough, small enough, cheap enough so that possibly they could infringe on individual rights or be able to identify individuals. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll continue to get good innovations from satellites, but I hope that as satellites get better, that there will be more rules of the sky in terms of how that impacts individuals on Earth. Thank you.